So get a new normal. And the new normal can offer you different opportunities, but you may find great satisfaction through those opportunities. Don't stop trying.
Opinions shared by the guests of the show are their own and do not necessarily represent the views of the host, Bindwaves, or the Brain Injury Network. This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of a healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Carrie, a stroke survivor and a member of BIND.
And I'm Brittany. I'm a brain injury survivor and a member of BIND. Today's guest is Dr. Leigh Richardson. Dr. Leigh Richardson is passionate about helping people improve their brain health, build resilience, and reach their full potential. She blends psychology, business, coaching, CBT, and neuroscience to create real, lasting change. Welcome.
Thank you, Brittany. I can't tell you what a pleasure and a joy it is to be doing this podcast with you. Because, Brittany, we've been through that traumatic brain injury together.
Definitely.
And it's great to see you behind the mic.
Yeah, it is. You definitely helped me, and it's still a journey that I'm going through too.
Well, it is.
Yeah. So talk about the invisible wounds of traumatic brain injury. Leigh, it's been a while since we had you on the podcast. What's new with you and the Brain Performance Center?
Well, the Brain Performance Center, we're still focused on brain health, but we've broadened the way that we look at and we think about brain health. We have started to think about it as brain capital because your brain is the single biggest asset that you have.
Yeah. So a little background story with me and Leigh. So I went to Brain Performance Center for neurofeedback training after my car wreck. Originally, I went a long time ago for migraines, and then after my car wreck, I went to Leigh because I knew it was the best decision, and she helped me with brain retraining. So, so your services are for people with acquired brain injuries too?
We service people with brain injuries, anxiety, depression, OCD, autism, ADHD. But the thing that makes it interesting about a brain injury, it's not like you have a broken arm or you have a visible scar. That traumatic brain injury doesn't leave external signs. And with you it did, but it doesn't with everybody. But where you feel those effects is internally. And those are the invisible wounds and the anxiety, the depression. And a lot of times I've had people say, they look just fine. I don't understand what they're struggling with. And they will dismiss it. And that's not the right answer. Because, when you think about a traumatic brain injury, anytime you fall or you're in a car accident or a sports injury or a combat related, so you're gonna enter the brain and you're gonna change the way it's wiring and firing, and that's gonna result in cognitive, emotional, and psychological changes.
Which is really hard on people, especially when it's an invisible brain injury. Like with mine, some people look at me like, you don't have a brain injury, but there's are so many challenges that are going on inside my head. Some things are not connecting. Or if I get overwhelmed and my brain just shuts down automatically, it's kind of hard and challenging.
Yeah.
Well, it is. And what we need to stop and think about is how the brain is affected. And what happens in the brain is that the injury affects multiple brain regions. It's not just the point where the head was hit. Certainly impacts that prefrontal cortex, how you make decisions, how you control those impulses. And a lot of times that can cause a lot of mood swings or impulsivity. And then you've got the limbic system, and that's the emotional regulation, if you're more irritable, if you're anxious, if you're emotionally reactive, that's because that limbic system was impacted. And memory, when I say the word memory, I automatically think of the hippocampus because when you've had a brain injury, it's hard to retain new information. And then you've got those neurotransmitters. So those are the chemical changes, and the serotonin and the dopamine. And once those chemicals get out of balance, you're much more at risk for depression and anxiety.
Yeah, and you mentioned something again that I think is something that I've noticed in me some, but in a lot of different brain injuries that you wonder, like, did your personality change, or was that part of your personality before, and because of the brain injury, maybe it's just enhanced it a little bit different way, like you're talking about kind of that anger, or maybe that anxiety. Maybe you were always a little anxious, but then after the brain injury, it's enhanced something in that area where now maybe you are angered a little bit quicker or a little more anxious than you used to be. Is that part of that?
Well, statistically, 50% of the people with a traumatic brain injury will experience anxiety, depression, or both. And what happens is then they start to withdraw, they socially isolate. And it's emotionally exhausting when you don't know how to, am I depressed? Am I anxious? Am I frustrated? It's hard to focus. It's you're just because you look okay doesn't mean that that brain is working okay. And that impacts, the biggest thing that I've seen is it impacts motivation. Brittany, I know you lost
Yes.
motivation.
And I kind of fell off of that again too, losing motivation because it's hard. It's frustrating, like when your brain doesn't work and you don't know what to do, and then your emotions from brain injury. Like you asked, is your personality change? Sometimes I'm over emotional, and so I'll have like many mental breakdowns, and it's because it's like okay, and the thing I can't run from is my mind. My brain is still right there, so I can't run from it like a broken arm or something, or well, I can't, run with a broken arm either, but it's still in my body. But it's mainly not like physically hurt, but it's like mentally, emotionally, psychology, like hurt in your mind. So it does change and it does get hard. It's really hard.
Well, in those invisible struggles, that can be brain fog, that can be memory loss, it can be trouble focusing. You mentioned mood swings, frustration, and I've had people say they feel numb. They just feel emotionally numb. So, and sometimes has it ever impacted your sleep
Oh,
and fatigue?
definitely. Yes. Yes.
And fatigue and headaches, and if you have somebody in your home that's had a traumatic brain injury and you see them they're forgetful or they're irritable, don't think, well, they're just lazy or moody. It could actually be a result of the traumatic brain injury.
Right.
Yeah. Which is kind of hard because then because right now I'm dealing with memory issues, so it's frustrating. So I get frustrated, and then my mom, she does like look at me like, "Why are you so frustrated? Like, calm down." It's like I can't because I need to remember this. Like, why can't I function right? So it's a journey emotionally.
It
Yeah.
is. And Brittany, I would love to have you come by the office. One of the things that we do have that's new is that we've gotten certification in the Kennedy method. And it's something that I can show you that you can do on your own, and it will help your processing speed. And a lot of memory is you have to process what's going on. So, and that's a real invitation. Please, I'd love to have you come by and show you how to do that.
Oh yeah.
And even if you, I'd love to share that because it's something that you can do on your own to improve that brain fog, that concentration, and how the brain processes.
Yeah, I would love to, especially anything to improve you and quality of life. Just little improvements each day. So I definitely would love to.
Well, you know what to do.
I
Call the
will.
call the office. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
But so, that's just an example of there are things that can be done to support the treatment. But at the same time, there are a lot of barriers around it, because when I've heard families say, there's a stigma, they'll say, well, she looks fine, he looks fine, he can drive his car, so he must just be stressed out, or she must just be lazy. No, that is not the case. That's just the brain is working differently. And a lot of times, there's a misdiagnosis with a brain injury, especially if the injury is mild. And the symptoms can be misread or overlooked. And then thank goodness for Vine and
Yeah.
what it gives to people, because many people suffer in silence. They don't get the right support. And with Vine, they get support on so many different levels. So
We definitely try.
Oh yeah, definitely. Which is kind
no,
of my story because my brain injury went noticed for 7 months. Which with a brain injury, you want to get it treated in the first 12 months. So 7 months on a brain injury, not knowing it, in silence, and so after that, I went to Leigh, and then she told me about Vine. So Vine really has helped me, as you can see, because I'm up here on a mic and talking.
well, and there's neurofeedback that we did. There's biofeedback. There's some CBT, and that's just cognitive behavioral therapy. Negative thoughts create negative behavior that creates negative feelings.
That's so true.
And you have to, instead of looking for the barriers, look for solutions. And my son was in a car accident when he was in second grade. This was a long time ago, but by the time he got to fifth grade, I came home and he said, "Mom, my brain is broke." And back then, this is like in 2003, he had gotten on the internet and done research. Well, back then, it's not cool when a fifth grader gets on the internet all by himself. Now, now's different.
Right.
But it's, we have to really, and I was so thankful that he did his research. He is the one that said, I need help. Because we can. The people that have had a brain injury, they're a survivor. And we've got to frame recovery as, Brittany, I think you said it, it's a journey.
Yeah.
It's not about, I just want to hit the normal button and go back to the previous norm. And you have to be intentional about it.
Yeah, because unfortunately, that normal button is not the same anymore. But I want to go back a little bit, Leigh. You mentioned, we all know that there's the internal struggles to a brain injury. How do we maybe get others, like our caregivers or just friends in general, to help them understand and recognize those internal struggles, that while they may not see it outwardly, how do we engage them more so they can understand those? Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. And I think that what caregivers struggle with is what they want to build cognitive and functional independence for people, but they don't know how. It's hard to figure out. And one of the first pieces of advice that I give is let people do things at their own pace. It doesn't matter, she used to could do that in 7 minutes. It takes her an hour now. Well, let her do it at her own pace. Let her feel confident about her ability to do it. And, then don't treat people with brain injuries as they can't make choices, because they can. I mean, you can foster independence with a safety net. So give them a choice. You really need to go up and you need to do your walking. So do you want to do it before or after lunch?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And create a structured environment. Maintain predictability and control. Because when I don't know what I need to do or how to do it, first thing that happens, I get all stressed out. So for caregivers, if they can create an environment where it is structured, where they do have some control, where they help break the task down into small steps and just make it easier. And there's nothing wrong with using checklists and visual cues and alarms and memory tools, all the tools that they're out there now. Help them learn how to use those tools.
Yeah. So, especially like calendars on the back of your garage door going outside, because that's what I had to get calendars. Like, when's my doctor's appointment? This is where I need to go. Oh, podcast on Thursday, go to Plano. So that actually helped me out to realize and, find a rhythm to get back into a rhythm, not my normal rhythm, but a new one. So,
Well, and I think a morning check in is good because it reorients and it sets the tone for the day. You're ready for the day. You know you know what you have to do. You got everything you need. Okay.
yeah.
And I think also, Brittany, do you ever use quiet time as a way to help manage overstimulation?
I try, but then my brain is not nice to me. My brain will just randomly start buzzing because I'm, I guess, overstimulated, which my brain is weird. Like, I'll wake up in the morning, it start buzzing, and then I'll go wash my hands and start buzzing. Then I'll start writing and start buzzing. But I do try to do quiet time, just be myself somewhere alone in a dark room. But then, my weakness is arts and crafts, so that helps me.
I think it's great because you get a lot of satisfaction from that.
Yeah.
And that is a quiet thing activity to do, so it helps you be quiet while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
maybe it's not easy.
Brittany, do you have any affirmations that you use?
Um, Watch your fingers. No, I'm just kidding. But no, not really. Like, sometimes, like, okay, you can do this. You got this. Or what I like to say now on the podcast, like, oh, my life is ruined. No, it's not. You just have to reimagine your life. So,
That's a great affirmation. And when you say that, doesn't that give you a little bit of a boost emotionally?
yeah, it's like kind of, okay, I didn't go down this path. That path is closed because of construction. I just have to find a new route to do the things I need to do. It might not be the same. It might not lead me to that place, but it might lead me to new amazing things. But I'm still here and I'm still going to work for it. So, yeah.
I think that's a great attitude. And I think just the fact that what you're doing with the podcast, you're educating families and friends. You're, you know what I have found, caregiver burnout and misunderstandings, those are so common.
Yeah, very common, especially like being the brain injury survivor when the caregiver has like a burnout. It's kind of like, okay, I don't want to mess with them, or oh, I feel bad because they're burned out because of me. And it's kind of like you can't ask for help because you're like, oh no, I'm just going to stress them out more, or they don't understand it, like they don't get it. It's like something new to them too. It's like, oh, this person has a brain injury. Here you go. And then they have to learn everything. They have to do everything. They have to adapt to everything and help you adapt to everything, which you don't know. And that gets frustrating too, with kind of no support if the caregiver gets burned out. So,
And, and one of the things that communication, it's learning how to communicate and normalizing those emotional responses. And instead of a caregiver saying, well, it could have been worse.
oh, yeah.
Another way to say that is, it makes sense that you feel the way that you do, given what you've been through. So think of words, and it's how you use your language. And that's hard because when you're in that caregiving moment, you're in a reactive mode. They want the best for you. And when they're not, they feel like they can't give you the best, that makes them feel bad. So
Yeah.
it's normalizing. This is the way it is today. And having your affirmations. I think everybody should have an affirmation. When I guess it was 6 years ago, and the tornado that came through Dallas totally destroyed my office.
Oh,
Everything in
Oh,
it.
yeah. I
And
remember that.
yeah, My affirmation, and it's still the one I use today, is I will come back bigger and better and stronger. And I can remember standing out in my backyard screaming that affirmation.
That's good. Yeah, I think probably the biggest one we have here at Bind that we encourage all of our survivors to say is you don't ever say, I can't do that or I can't do X. It's, I can't do that yet. You always end it with the word yet because we're going to get there. We may not, it doesn't mean I may not be able to do it today, but I can do it tomorrow. I mean, that's like, we talking about Brittany. Brittany never had a brain injury and said, I'm going to have a brain injury and I'm going to go be on a podcast. Well, I didn't either, but, but hey, here we are. So, yeah, I think that's, and I know you're talking about caregivers, and I say this to all, but, no one thinks about that the brain injury isn't just for the survivor. It affects the whole entire family. I know my parents and I had to sit down and reset new boundaries because it was kind of more like, okay, I've had a brain injury. That doesn't mean I'm your 5-year-old child that you used to take care of. I don't need that. I don't need that hovering, that constant, what do you need? What do you want? What can I do? I need you to still treat me like the 38-year-old woman, independent woman that I am and that I was 2 weeks ago before this happened, or a month ago, whatever, treat me like that same person. Now, if you see me maybe doing something dangerous, because I did have impulsivity. So, if you see me trying to climb the counters with my half paralyzed self, maybe correct me there. But yeah, so it is. I mean, that's a lot, I think, that we don't think about that we need to work on with caregivers. They kind of get left out and just try to figure things out and pick up the pieces on the go. So,
And that's so hard. And it's, they don't know what to do, they don't know how to help. And one of the pieces of advice that I offer is be consistent. As a caregiver, be consistent with what you try to do. Whether that's support social reconnection, get them involved in a community, get them involved in buying, but whether it's everybody needs a community to grow within and to grow from. And buying is a perfect example. A religious, whether it's church or any type of religious structure, that provides the opportunity. And I know you guys do a lot of different things with social interactions. And Brittany, I'm surprised you don't have craft groups going there every day.
Oh, I try, but I think Rummy Cube beats us out in Fort Worth.
Oh, okay. I think that, one of the things that the key takeaways I always tell people is understand the effects of a traumatic brain injury. It is a survivor, and they may experience memory loss. They may experience fatigue, emotional dysregulation, mood swings, up, down, certainly difficulty concentrating. And as was mentioned earlier, you may see some changes in personality or behavior. And you have to, as caregivers, we have to learn to take that, to view that with empathy rather than frustration.
Yeah. So I know a little thing to touch up on. I know a lot of us get overstimulated and overwhelmed in different environments. So do you have any techniques to avoid getting overwhelmed in overstimulated environments, such as parties, sports events, and noisy environments?
Well, take a brain break. And that's exactly what the way to think of it is. Take a brain break. Hit the pause button. Just step back and sit down, or if you need to stand up, but get comfortable and stop and just focus on your breathing. Because if you change your breath rate, you'll change your heart rate. And when we get overstimulated, you ever feel like your heart's beating a lot faster and a lot harder? And the best way to slow that down is to slow that breath rate down.
That's true. And you don't need any special equipment for that.
And matter of fact, you have to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to breathe. So when you feel that, Brittany, do you ever feel that overstimulation coming on?
Sometimes I don't, and sometimes I do. But when I don't, it hits really fast. And like by the time I realize I'm overstimulated, I'm like in that little pickle in that moment.
And the best thing to do is just breathe into it. Literally breathe into it.
So don't fight it.
Yeah.
No, because if you just, once you start the fight, then, you start the roller coaster,
Yeah.
fight, flight, freeze.
That's
fight,
true. I
flight,
hadn't thought about
freeze.
that.
Yeah, especially my aphasia comes out too when I fight it. So,
Oh, I hadn't
Yeah.
thought about that.
all right. So, what's one thing that you would like brain injury survivors to learn from your research from the Brain Performance Center?
That you can do something about it. I'm not saying you're going to get your normal back. I mean, think about the normal that we had before the pandemic.
Right.
We haven't gotten that back. And how many years has it been? So get a new normal. And the new normal can offer you different opportunities, but you may find great satisfaction through those opportunities. Don't stop trying.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, thank you for joining us, Leigh, and thank you for all of us listening.
Well, thank you, and I hope you'll take me up on my offer.
Oh, definitely, I will. Anything to improve my life.
And it's something that you can share with some of your colleagues at Vine.
You
Oh,
can
I
you can bring
definitely
it back
will.
and you can come
Definitely
teach us a
will.
little class. We'll let you do that
Oh,
instead
yeah.
of arts and crafts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so
Thanks
much,
again,
ladies,
Leigh.
for having me.
Thank you.
Again, for those of you listening, if you would like to contact us, you can email us at bindwaves@thebind.org. You can follow us on Instagram at bindwaves. And we've switched up things a little bit now. So now you can find us on the internet. Just go to bindwaves.org and it'll take you straight to our portion of the Bind site website, just the podcast site. So
Yeah. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on your favorite platform. And also hit notify on YouTube while listening to Bind Waves.
and remember, you can find us on all your favorite platforms. So until next time.
Until next time.
We hope you've enjoyed listening to Bindwaves and continue to support Brain Injury Network and our nonprofit mission. We support brain injury survivors as they reconnect into life, the community, and the workplace. And we couldn't do that without great listeners like you. We appreciate each and every one of you. Please remember to click the like button, the share button, and the subscribe button on YouTube. And follow us on Instagram at Bindwaves and Brain Injury Network on Facebook. You can email us at bindwaves@thebind.org or go to our website, bindwaves.org, or call us at 972-769-2463. Please continue watching. Until next time.